Hey, it's Mike Cambright with FlipNerd.com, and welcome back for another exciting VIP interview where I interview some of the most successful real estate investing experts and entrepreneurs in the industry to help you learn and grow. Today, I'm joined by my friend Mark McKee, who's a Las Vegas real estate investor and has been investing, I don't mean to age him here, but for over 30 years in a market that has been very volatile. So he's seen lots of ups and downs, and Mark has tremendous learning experiences and lessons to share with us. Today, we're going to talk about how to lead a successful lifestyle as a real estate investor. Not necessarily how to be successful in real estate investing, but trying to think about why it is that you do what you do. What is this all for? Before we get started with Mark, though, let's take a moment to recognize our featured sponsors. RealtyMogul.com is an online marketplace for real estate investing, connecting borrowers and capital from accredited and institutional investors. Get a rehab loan fast and close in as little as 10 days. Rates start as low as 9%. We'd also like to thank National Real Estate Insurance Group, the nation's leading provider of insurance to the residential real estate investor market. From individual properties to large-scale investors, National Real Estate Insurance Group is ready to serve you. Please note, the views and opinions expressed by the individuals in this program do not necessarily reflect those of FlipNerd.com or any of its partners, advertisers, or affiliates. Please consult professionals before making any investment or tax decisions, as real estate investing can be risky. Hey, Mark. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Mike. How you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. So, hey, thanks for joining us. So, before we started filming here, we were talking about how old both of us feel. So, didn't mean to age you with saying that you've been investing for 30 years, but wow, what an accomplishment in a market like Vegas.
I still feel good. I feel great. I still feel like I'm 25 most of the time.
Yeah, but, and you're very attractive.
Yeah.
You're very attractive.
Yeah, yeah, but I have been doing real estate for quite a while, and I actually bought my first property in 1983, back when I was in college, and flipped my first house in 88. But right when I got out of college, I got into real estate, and I'd say by accident, but in life there really are no accidents. Yeah. So somehow I ended up in real estate, working as a realtor. And was young in my, 21, 22 at the time, and it was kind of a baptism by fire, a sink or swim, and I was young and just started just doing everything I could, studying successful people. Success leaves clues. I think it was Tony Robbins that talked about that a lot, but I just found what the successful people were doing and just kind of did the same thing, and kind of built up to within 5 years of getting started, I was the #1 real estate agent in the whole state.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And did real well. Had a whole team of people working for me, and had my own mortgage company for a while, and really had a lot of success with that. And but got a little tired of it after a while. And but fortunately, when I was a real estate agent, when I was young, I had one of my first managers who said, "Hey, Mark, you can make a lot of money in real estate in commissions, but you need to start planning for your future and start buying properties, because commissions it's just a treadmill.
Absolutely.
Sell a house, get paid. Sell a house, get paid. Stop selling houses, stop getting paid."
Yeah.
So,
and even a lot of real estate investors are like that. If they're not keeping houses as rentals or building up some other sort of passive income, you get caught in this hamster wheel of flipping properties, right?
Exactly. Flip a house, get paid. Flip a house, get paid. Stop flipping houses, stop getting paid. So you're on that treadmill.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I learned early on, was the difference between linear and residual income. Residual income is the mailbox money, that money that comes in no matter what you're doing. And I was fortunate, had some good mentors, and I was always a big, I'm going to date myself again, I'm going to say a tape junkie, because back when I first started listening, they were cassette tapes, back in the 80s and into the 90s. There was no CDs. Of course, everything's podcasts and MP3s and everything's now. But, I would listen to Brian Tracy and others like that, and talking about money. If you want to be wealthy, you need to study money. And again, it's all about cash flow. And so, fortunately, I started buying properties back in the late 80s, and have been doing so ever since.
Yeah.
And so I transitioned out of real estate. I told you I was a realtor. I have not been a realtor for 15 years now. I retired from that and sold my business to an up-and-coming real estate agent. I had over 100 listings at the time, but I just got tired of it. And I had actually kind of created some information products and training materials for realtors and mortgage people, because I had a lot of people who would just come up to me and say, "Hey, Mark, you're 28 years old. You're the #1 agent in the state. What's the secret?" And of course, you and I both know there are no secrets. I mean, #1, you need to work hard, but #2, you need to have the right strategies. I mean, you can run east as fast as you can, but if you want to see a sunset, I don't care how fast you run. So you got to be pointed in the right direction. So I was determined and motivated, and I created the information products, and I spent a few years traveling around teaching and training realtors. I was doing 8 to 10 seminars a month for a while there, and I had books and tapes and things that I sold, and had a lot of fun doing that. But all the while investing and continually purchasing properties. I got into a couple other different businesses, and I was kind of a serial entrepreneur, always looking for opportunities and things. And so I did some other things and made a lot of money doing some other things.
So Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've literally never worked for anybody else in your entire career. Is that right?
You know what? I was just thinking about that. Yeah, I have never had a job. Well, I started at a gas station when I was 13. I worked in restaurants as a busboy during high school.
But as an adult, you've never.
In college, I worked at a 5-star restaurant. That was real interesting. But no, your point's well taken. Since I've been 21, I've never had a job.
Yeah,
never had a job
awesome.
My whole adult life.
That's probably the single biggest piece of advice that or regret, I guess, that I've heard people that have a lot of experience in real estate, successful people say, is that I wish I'd started earlier. They wish they had done what you've done.
Yeah, and I started early in that. Fortunately, I have a lot. Still have most. I mean, I've only sold 2 of my properties ever my whole life. Yeah. So, for rentals, obviously flipping them you sell. Right. Of my long-term rentals, I only sold 2. That was way back when I was building a big custom house, and I needed a little extra money. I mean, that was 20 years ago. But so I still have a lot of I still have all my properties, and properties I bought in the 80s, 90s, and recently, and a lot of them, free and clear. My goal is in another, 4 or 5 years to have all of them free and clear.
That's awesome.
Just again for that cash flow. But so I've done a few different things and talked with a lot of people, and one of the keys is just that discipline. You've got to be aggressive. And you've got to be focused, but and sometimes people talk about it. It's your why. Why are you doing this? Sometimes people say, "Well, I want to get into real estate," and I say, "Well, why?" "Well, I want to make a lot of money." "Okay, well, why?" And to me, it always came down to lifestyle, and we mentioned this a little earlier, but there's the key to a great lifestyle is just being able to do what you want when you want. Yeah. And there's 2 main types of income. That linear income when you're on the treadmill, and that residual income. And you and I were talking earlier. I live in a kind of exclusive neighborhood, and there's doctors and lawyers. We have a 24-hour guard and all that. But I see them driving by, going to work, and some of them make a lot of money. So they have money, but they don't have any time, any free time really. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you could find like a homeless person who has plenty of free time, but they don't have any money. So that's not good either. So the key is to have plenty of money and plenty of free time, and the way to achieve that is through residual income, that mailbox money.
Yeah.
And one of the key, I've got other investments and things as well, but the key thing I've done is just create a lot of free and clear rental properties. And as long as you manage them fairly well, hire a manager, or you manage them and get decent tenants. I always try to keep my rents reasonable. If a house fair market rents $1,000 a month, I'll rent mine for $950. And and the people stay there. I have tenants been in. I have one tenant been in 17 years. Wow. I've got another 13 years. I got a bunch of them 8, 9, 10 years. They don't bother me, and they're afraid to call me sometimes because they're afraid I'll raise their rent or something. So, of course, I want them to call me if there's a problem that needs to be fixed. But
yeah.
So again, that mailbox money is really the key. You talk about different advice that I would give if you were starting out is, number one, know your why. What's the reason why? Is it to have that lifestyle? Is it to provide for your family, your parents, your kids? It's really important because people think, oh, I'm going to be a real estate investor, and that's great. But you can't just say that and maybe buy a course and put it up on the shelf and think that by some kind of magic you're going to be successful. It takes action. And yes, it is a lot easier if you have the proper strategies. There's no doubt about that. Again, you can't walk east looking for a sunset. So, but even if you have the right strategies, you've got to take action. Back in the day, maybe some of the younger guys don't remember, but Nike used to have this the commercials and the slogans that said, "Just do it." JDI, just do it. And I remember back when I was younger and really trying to get traction and building in real estate and everything, and just really motivated. I'd have big signs on the wall of my office that say, "Just do it." No excuses. No organizing your paper clips and getting things. Just do it. Get on the phone, make the calls. Go on the appointments, do what you got to do, and just get out there and make it happen. And knowledge is important, but it's about action.
Yeah.
Looking back at my real estate days when I was a realtor, I'd see people. There's a lot of turnover in real estate, like a lot of things. But I'd see people come in, and I remember looking at people that would come in, new agents in the office, and I would say, "Oh man, that guy can barely even talk. He stutters. He blah blah. He's got no real people skills or whatnot." And then the next thing you know, the guy's doing pretty good. He's making money. Why? Because he was just motivated. He was just a machine. He'd just get out there and work and work and work. And then I've also seen people come in that were all slick and polished and handsome and, had the gift of gab and all that. And you thought, oh man, this person's going to do really well. And then 3 months later, they're gone out of the business. Why? Because, well, they were really good at sitting by the coffee, the coffee machine and sitting around talking and organizing their desk and getting ready to get ready. That's what I see a lot of people do.
They get ready. Yeah.
They get ready to get ready, and man, you just got to get out there and do it. So nothing's ever going to be perfect as far as you're right, but just get out there and do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it. And if you're so young that you don't remember the Nike slogan, "Just do it," then we're both in trouble, Mark. That hasn't been that long ago. So, hey, why don't you share some just general advice on, because there's a lot of veteran real estate investors too that haven't really built up passive income. They've created this hamster wheel of flipping or wholesaling houses, either being a rehab and resell or wholesaling, and they haven't created that passive income, either.
Well, and maybe I'll just take a minute and kind of tell you what I do. I mentioned I haven't been a realtor for, 15 years and done a few different things, but always investing. And now the last 7 or 8 years, I've really been focused. Our market was just a slow appreciation, and then it went nuts in 04 and 05, and then it peaked in 06, and then just came down. So I started really buying in 07. I had a pretty good pile of cash, and ran across some of my a buddy of mine in California that was a realtor at one time, and he says, "No, I'm not a realtor anymore either, and I'm just buying and flipping." And so it just kind of sparked my interest. So I just started buying properties like crazy in 07. Back then I was doing TV commercials. Hey, behind on your payments, facing foreclosure, I can help. And had success with that. But then it got to the point in 08 or into 09 and 10, there were so many foreclosures here. And they were on the MLS. Even though I was not a realtor anymore, my wife has a license, mainly just to facilitate my transactions. But there were so many properties on the MLS, it was almost like turning on a faucet. It was like, okay, enough. I mean, you could just, God, I look back on it and I'm just thinking, God, I wish and I was buying properties like crazy, but you look back and think, gosh, I should have bought more. Yeah. It reminded me, if you heard back, I don't know if it was in the Dallas area or Houston or wherever, but back in I don't know if it was in the late 70s or 80s, they had a big oil boom, and then it went down again. And I remember people in Texas saying, God, just give us one more oil boom. We promise we won't mess it up this time. Just one more boom. But So things were just fantastic. That was just the glory days, 9, 10, 11. But then they passed some laws here that made it very difficult for the banks to foreclose, which that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Allowed people to live in their houses for years and years without making payments. How that's good policy, I don't know, but we don't even want to get into that discussion.
Yeah.
So things kind of changed, and I'd always been doing mail. Back when I was a realtor, I did a lot of mailings and things like that. So I do a lot of mail, inherited properties, probates, evictions, vacants. So a lot of things that a lot of the guys are doing. I am considering starting back up my TV commercials. Met the guys from Nashville, the cool guys there doing commercials, and it kind of got my mind thinking about doing the commercials again. And also, I have a lot of what I call scouts or bird dogs. I've been around town a long time, and I just people know that if they find a property, they bring it to me. I'll give them a finder's fee. Even my if I have one of my cards around here, but on the back of my business card, it says. Earn easy cash, and it says, "Hey, do you know of anybody that needs to buy or sell? I'll talk to them and treat them with respect. And if I buy it, I'll pay you $500 or $1,000 or whatever I can." So, because there's a lot of people out there that they want to be real estate investors, but they don't really have the expertise. They don't have the money. And I know people will say you can be an investor without having any money, and technically that's true. But if you want to go out and buy properties on the scale that I do or that you do, I mean, it's tough if you don't have any money.
Yeah.
Are there ways to do it? Yes.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of guys out there, guys and gals, people that they don't have the money, so they'll bring a deal to me, and if it makes sense, I'll take care of them. So I have a lot of those kind of bird dogs out there that bring properties to me. In fact, I was just on a call right before the show here with a guy.
Well, Mark, talk a little bit about kind of the topic of the day, which is how to enjoy your life, and a lot of it has to do a lot more with time than money. So there's some successful real estate investors that have created a job and they do well, just like the doctors and lawyers in your neighborhood that you talked about that do well, but they don't have time. And then there's people that are new, that are getting started, but this even applies to veteran folks. Is that kind of that balance of time and money? Because if you have time and you don't have money, there's not a whole lot you can do. And if you have what am I saying here? If you have money and no time, then of course you don't have the time to do anything. You just say someday I'm going to get to that. And as you and I both know, you don't want to bank your life on someday.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's about that creating that residual income and the lifestyle. To me, again, it's all about lifestyle. Another thing I may mention as well is. I just came from the gym, and it's a good thing there's not like a sniffer on the on the computer. He'd be like, "Man, that guy needs a shower." But I believe strongly that there's a big correlation between physical and mental fitness. And I'm not 20 anymore, but I'm in better shape than a lot of 20-year-olds or 25-year-olds, and. I was at the gym this morning just cranking on the Stairmaster, dripping wet, and I just believe that, especially when you get involved in something like real estate investing, which it's not it's not complicated, but it's not easy. I mean, when I say it's not easy, I mean because you have to, as you get things set up and you build a team and you get things going, there's a little, as my buddy Jason says, brain damage involved in getting that all going. So as you're getting it going, there may be some long hours and some potential stress, and you got to use your brain. And I just really believe that there's that big correlation between mental fitness and physical fitness, because when the hours are long and you've got a choice, oh God, I can go sit on the sofa and watch. I don't even know what's on TV because I don't watch TV other than I go to bed. I might watch Mythbusters or How It's Made or Science Channel, something informational like that. But I really don't watch TV. But my point is, when you get worn down and you don't have that, it's energy. That's where I'm going. Is energy. If you don't have the energy, instead of finishing up your work and making a few calls or doing so, you may just sit down and watch TV. So I really believe that in that correlation, and that goes back to the definition of success. What is success? And to me, success is living your life how you want to live it and having that time and that money, but also having your health. Because if you don't have your health, I mean, if God forbid somebody gets a call, they go to the doctor, not feeling, they get that call, hey man, you got cancer. Holy smokes, that's a game changer. That's a life changer right there. And hopefully it's something that's curable. And, I'm fortunate. I've never been sick in my whole life. I never get sick. I feel great. But I see people, oh gosh, this guy, did 200 deals last year, and he's, rock star and this and that. And he's 50 pounds overweight, and he's got high blood pressure and high cholesterol. He's got diabetes and this. And I'm not thinking of anybody in particular, but, we've all met people like that. And I just think, man, that's not, to me, that's not success. Right. And I'm not saying you need to be in the gym for 6 hours a day or anything like that. I just go every morning and do my workout for an hour and a half or whatever. And I like to do fun stuff. I ride motocross bikes with my kids. Last week I was with my wife up in Zion, just the two of us, and we spent 3 days hiking, and man, some brutal 4 or 5 hour hikes. And I just love to be able to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And, I've got a handful of kids, and as you get grandkids, I want to be able to run around and throw the ball and play. I don't want to be the dad that can't even make it up a flight of stairs. So, and again, this is all about real estate investing. It's not a health and nutrition show.
Sure.
But I really believe, again, if we're talking about having a successful life, health. I mean, if you have great health, you have plenty of money and plenty of free time, sounds like a good start on a good life to me.
No doubt about it. Yeah, I think, and you start to, as you've been a real estate investor for a while, and I haven't even been for that long, 6.5 years for me, but you start to take things for granted. I've talked to some people lately that we talk about, can you go do this on, how about we go do it next Wednesday? No, man, I've got to work. Or, you start to realize that, for at least a lot of my friends are in the corporate world, that, when you talk about vacation, they're like, you're going on vacation again? It's like, they're in their mind, and I understand they get two weeks paid vacation a year, and that's, they covet that. Like that's just for very special occasions, and so you start to kind of realize that, that how important that is.
I couldn't even imagine being my reality, and I have a lot of friends that a lot of my friends are investors and entrepreneurs that can do whatever they want, like I can. I guess you just naturally gravitate. Right. If I say, hey, let's go to Napa and do some wine tasting, in 2 weeks, I want to hang with people that can do that, right, because that's what I do. I'm going to go here, go there. But I do have other friends that are, have nice jobs and things, but me, I just couldn't imagine saying, oh gosh, I'd like to go do this, but I can't get the time off. Yeah. To me, just slit my wrist. And I have a feeling that even for you, Mark, I have, and I know that if you're like me, and I know you probably, it sounds like you probably are able to enjoy your life more than, I'm a glutton for punishment, so I tend to keep starting a new business or piling something else on. But, and I don't know if I should even say this out loud, but my wife and I went on a 10-year anniversary trip to Grand Cayman. 2 weeks ago we were in Grand Cayman. So nice. Now, I shouldn't say this out loud because it's going to make me sound bad. Just the two of you?
It was just the two of us, yeah. So it was awesome, and we actually get to do a lot of things like that. Now, I will say that we actually worked a fair bit while we were there, too. But, I guess some of it for me is the life. We're staying in a super nice place, and so I have to get up in the morning and work for 2 or 3 hours to make sure some stuff gets taken care of, and then go enjoy the rest of the day. Not so bad, but I think even if it's not, hey, I get to totally take off and disconnect from my business completely, that's not always the case for a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of real estate investors. But having the flexibility to be able to check in, whether it's jump on a laptop or a phone from virtually any place in the world and try to keep the wheels on the bus, it doesn't, that's still worth a lot to not have to be locked down to a desk somewhere and
right.
Have a job per se. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm just, as you were talking, I'm thinking, man, what, like I said, I've never had a job. I have never had a job since I was in college. Yeah. And just the thought of, I guess you, like you said, you take it for granted. Yeah. But somebody watching this may say, well, wow, that's great. But hey, man, I didn't start that way. When I started in real estate, I'd gotten out of college, and I didn't have anything. I remember I was so broke. I had somehow Texaco had given me a credit card. They'd sent out these things and I'd send it back. So I had a few other credit cards, but they were maxed out. And I was getting started in real estate, and I had a Texaco credit card. And I remember there was a Texaco gas station that had a food mart, like a little supermarket in it, and I would go there and buy like soup and noodles and things, and seriously, because I was down to that to eat. I had to buy my food with my gas station credit card, so I had something to eat. And of course I was single back then, and but hey, people, nothing was handed to me on a silver platter. I mean, I worked. I still work.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of had ideas of kind of taking it easier at this point, which I could financially, but I still have we have 5 kids total. I still have 3 at home, and the youngest is at this time is 11, and I'm all about, hey, I've got a real big, nice motorhome, one of the big buses and stuff, and we travel and do stuff, and I'm like to my wife, let's go here, let's go there. She's like, Mark, we have 3 kids at home. There's baseball and all this stuff. I mean, we can't do that. I mean, we do some, but I mean, I'm thinking like, let's just take off.
Yeah.
I can't do that yet. So
I understand.
I've got about 7 or 8 years left until my youngest is out of high school. So I just recently, and some of the mastermind groups, in fact, that's where you and I met at a group about a month or so ago, a couple months ago. And I just said, well, you know what? If I've got about 7 or 8 years left I just figured, well, let me put it this way. I just figured, and I'm not the kind of guy who does things halfway. So I'm like, you know what? I'm taking this real estate investing business to the next level. So just in the last 3 weeks, I've hired 2 more people, stepped up the marketing, and I don't mind work. I probably work 3 or 4 hours a day. And doing some other marketing stuff that we do, but I don't mind going to, like, I'll work and then, hey, I need a break, and I'll go drive around and drive to a few houses and just stop by, a couple times a week, and hey, how's it going, guys, and check on stuff. And to me, I don't mind stopping by the houses now and again and seeing what's going on, and just, to me, it's kind of fun. I enjoy, I mean, my dad was an engineer. I'm a guy who can fix almost anything. I enjoy taking houses and fixing them up, and I'm a guy who likes fixing things. And by the way, we do mostly rehabs. We do some wholesaling when the guys are maxed and the plate's full. I'll wholesale deals off, but typically we rehab.
Yeah,
most of the deal.
Yep, you're a glutton for punishment like me, so. But when you get a system down, I mean,
old school, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, in all honesty, that tends to be, at least for me, where we make the most money. So that's why we do it. Yeah. Well, Mark, hey, can we take the last couple minutes and just talk about guidance you would give people, whether they're new or whether they're even veterans, is just that time component. Because I think a lot of people get hung up on, I'll worry about enjoying my life after I have the money. And sometimes, as we talked about, that someday never comes. Or when you look back, I kind of have this, and I work way harder than I should right now, and it's because I keep starting new things, which my wife is about to leave me if I start anything new. But
you enjoy that, though.
I do. I enjoy. I've always been a fixer or a builder, and when it comes to maintaining something, I just get bored with it. So even though we've had some stable businesses that run really well, it's like I need a new challenge now, and so that's
right.
I've got issues, Mark. That's something I'm going to have to overcome. But I think for a lot of people, though, I think about this all the time. When you look back, if you're on your deathbed and you had a chance to look back, would you ever say, what would your regrets be, and try to tackle those now? And I won't say that I'm saying to people more, do as I say, not as I do. But I think of that, and I don't think that most people would ever say, I wish I had worked more. I wish I hadn't taken that trip to such and such place, or whatever it might be. And so that's all coming back to the importance of that free time in your life.
Yeah, there's very few people on their, it's one of those deathbed things, whoa, God,
yeah.
Heavy. But you don't find too many people on their deathbed who say, I wish I wouldn't have taken that vacation with the family.
Yeah, I should have stayed back and worked more. Yeah.
Nobody says that. And again, to me, it comes down to having fun and doing what you enjoy. You see so many people that hate their jobs and just hate their boss, and it's just agony every day. And I'm like, my goodness, life's too short. You only get one go around that I know of, anyway. But so just do what's fun and what's truly fun to you. And to me, sometimes going by the houses, and I'm not there swinging a hammer or anything like that, but stopping by and seeing what's going on and that's kind of fun for me sometimes. I don't want to be there 10 hours a day or anything like that, and again, it's about delegation and building a team and having a business, not a job, and working on your business, not in your business, and that type of thing. So you have to have a system and organize and delegate. But do what's fun. Do what you love to do. And again, back to your question, if I was talking to somebody who was just starting out, is find your why. What is it that drives you and motivates you, and keep that in mind, because there's going to be some challenges. There's going to feel some times. There's some times when you're going to feel like somebody's beat you down with a hammer, and you're going to have to pull yourself up and just keep on going. And that takes determination. It takes determination and discipline. Real estate investing is like anything else in life. If you want to be successful, I don't care. You could name any field of endeavor. If you want to be successful, you've got to, I don't want to say pay the price, but you've got to put in the work. You've got to put in the effort. Yeah. Now, there's smarter. There are smarter and dumber, for lack of a better word, ways to do things. So you want to do things smart, but you've got to put in the time. If you're building systems, you got to put in the time to set them up and find the right people. And then once you get everything really clicking, it can be a lot of fun. Yeah. I mean, and you can have fun I had fun from the beginning. I guess there were some very first days in real estate when, man, that was just so brutal when I was young. And if you don't sell any houses, you don't make any money. And I was just sink or swim. And I remember I'd been in real estate about not even quite a year, and my office, and they teach you to call FSBOs, for sale by owners, and so I'm picking up the phone, I'm calling for sale by owners, and I had one transaction that was in escrow, and then I got a phone call and said, the buyer, something they couldn't qualify, and then so that deal was toast, and I was just like, oh no. And I remember looking down, and I'm like calling, I'm like, I have a college degree, I'm like calling people out of this newspaper, and I remember looking out the window of my office, and across the parking lot was a armed services recruiting center. And I just started thinking, man, maybe I could join like the Air Force or something, and fly planes, and I wouldn't have to deal with these FSBOs and phone calls and these deals that cancel. And I didn't do anything, but I remember just looking over there, and then I kind of thought, no, I don't want to do that. And I just pushed forward. But it's one of those kind of pivotal moments. But so there's going to be times when you're going to be beat down, and that's when it's good to have mentors and people that can help pull you up. But so just have that why, have that motivation, and again, going back to that Nike commercial, just do it. Just get out there, do it, get out of your own way, stop getting ready to get ready, and just take action, man, and get out there and make it happen. Yep.
Hey, Mark, thanks for joining us today. That's great stuff. Appreciate you sharing your story and some advice.
You got it. Good to be with you, Mike. Look forward to seeing you again.
Yep, we'll see you soon. Take care, buddy. Are you a member of FlipNerd.com, the most robust real estate investing platform in existence, where you can find off-market wholesale deals and great vendors literally in your market? You can get access to advice from experts and learn about local clubs and events right in your backyard. If not, please visit FlipNerd.com and register for a free account. You can register in less than a minute. It's pretty much the coolest site that's ever existed in the real estate investing industry, so get on over to FlipNerd.com.